All right, so in this video, I want to talk about first impressions. First impressions are so important. There's a good saying that says, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression." Um, Another one that my wife sometimes says is she has to introduce me twice to people. The first time to let them know who I am, and the second time to apologize for my behavior. But there's just no opportunity to get a second chance for a first impression. So it's great to make sure that you're doing your best to make sure that that's a very positive and memorable impression. The first impression is something that's either going to be an easy standard for you to live up to afterwards, or it's going to be a bad impression and you're going to be constantly pushing uphill to recover from that bad impression because the customer already has something set in their mind that this is not going to be good. So you have to make up for that. So I'm going to give you some tips and some strategies to think about on how you can improve that first impression and make sure it is a good one. Okay. So the first one is smiling. Smiling is contagious. Have you ever walked down the street and someone has looked up and smiled at you and said, "Good day"? I, it's impossible not to respond and smile back. It just can't, even if you are in a bad mood, unless you're just, grumpy in general. Um, Speaking of grumpy, there's my morning coffee cup. Anyways, um, unless you're just a grumpy prick, it's impossible not to smile back and say good morning to you too. So making sure you smile when people come in, when you greet people, when you talk, when you answer the phone, you can feel the smile through that phone. So smiling is important. The next is greeting your customers as soon as you can when they walk in that door. There's nothing worse than walking in somewhere and having employees walk past you. It happens to me at department stores, at hotels, places where someone is in a uniform and they just walk past you. They don't even greet you. And in your head, you have something that you want to ask, but the very fact that they seem to have their head down and don't want to talk to you, you just don't want to bother them and ask them. And then you hold that up. So when someone walks in the door, greet them as soon as you can. If you're in a conversation with someone else, or if you're on the phone with someone, be polite. Maybe wait for the right opportunity in the sentence, and you can just say, "Can you just hold on for 1 second, please?" Look up, greet the person. "Hi, thank you for coming to Joe's Garage. Someone will be with you in just a second to help you, or in a minute, or whatever." Greet them right away so they know that they're there. You've acknowledged them. They will then be patient in waiting. If they have to wait 10 minutes and no one even acknowledges they're there, it's going to be frustrating. By the time, if they stick around, by the time they get to the counter, they're going to have a bad mood that you have to try and deal with. So greeting them is very important. Introducing yourself by name. I also suggest having name tags. So someone comes in, they right away feel a connection knowing your name. They know how to address you. They know how to remember your name for whatever needs that they need. So addressing yourself, "Hi, my name's Mike. Can you please just wait a few minutes so someone can help you?" Or, "How can I help you today?" So saying your name is important. The next most important part is saying their name. As people, we love to hear our name. It's just a natural thing that we love. And it also gives authority to how you're speaking to us when you use our name. I remember going to a dentist, and it was my first visit. I've never been to this dentist before. And I walked in the door, and when I walked up, the receptionist looked up from her computer, and she said, "Oh, hi, Mike. Glad to see you come in today. Someone will be there just go in a few minutes. Please just go wait in the waiting room." I had never been there before. I had called and made an appointment, and yet when I walked in, they knew exactly who I was. And I was baffled. I wasn't just baffled though. I felt at home. I felt that these people knew me. And afterwards, I asked them, I said, I got to know how did you know who I was when I walked in? Well, first, she knew my appointment was for 2:00 and it was 1:50. So that narrows it down to only 2 or 3 people maybe that are coming in at that time slot. Number two, even though they didn't friend request me, they Googled me and they found pictures of me from Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever profiles they had online. They made sure it was a match. They saw it and they saved the picture of me in their management system or their CRM that they use. So that when I walked in, I could be greeted by name because they knew exactly who I was. That just blew me away. That small detail that you can do will blow your customers away. Do it for your recurring customers. In case you get a new service advisor who doesn't know your customers, he can still see their face on the computer, know who they are, and greet them by name. If they're new customers, they'll even be more blown away. When they walk in and you say hi and say their name, they'll love it. Huge, huge bonus points for doing that. Make sure your shop is neat, clean, and organized. It's so important. When I am handing you my vehicle over that I am particular about, if I walk in and the waiting room is a mess and you have piles of papers around your computer and you look unorganized, how do I feel that you're taking care of my vehicle? It's very important to have a clean space, no matter what theme, what decor you have. Maybe you have a rustic look to your shop, a country look. Maybe you have an Apple look, a very clean white space look. Whatever it is, it can still always look clean and organized. So that's very important to make sure that you have that, especially the bathroom. Don't neglect your bathroom. Make sure it's clean and organized. If your sink is 30 years old, it might be time to get a new sink. If your toilet has permanent stains on it that can't be cleaned, maybe it's like this 1970s orangish yellow color, it might be time to get a new toilet. I know it seems like, well, it's just the bathroom. When it comes to your lady customers, that is huge. You want them to walk in that bathroom and have a breath of fresh air, literally. Be blown away by how clean and nice that bathroom is. It's going to make them feel so comfortable, and it will make a great first impression for you. So make sure you do that. Be a listener. This is so important, okay? I know as a customer that I am not educated in vehicles as much as you are. Okay, I know that. I've worked hard to get my YouTube degree on automotive repair, but it's nowhere near what you have, right? But do not underestimate, do not undervalue what I know. Okay? If I'm someone you can joke around with, we've got a rapport, you can joke about my YouTube degree. And that'll be funny. We'll have a good time. We'll connect. If I'm a new customer and we don't have that rapport yet, do not undervalue what I am trying to tell you. Even if you know the answer right away, I'm describing to you an issue and you know that answer, hear me out. Let me finish my sentence. Don't cut me off even though you know the answer. Because even though you're right, you're not respecting what I'm trying to say as a customer. So always let the customer continue with what they need to say. Let them get out whatever they need. Because then they feel listened to. When they feel listened to, they feel like you are looking after their best interest. When you talk over them, when you cut them off because you have the answers, you come off as you only care about what you have to say and not what I have to say. So be very conscious of that when you're talking to someone, is to be a great listener. And to be a great listener means asking lots of questions. Again, even if you know the answer, if you can ask more questions, you make me feel like you're listening to what I have to say. What I have to say is very important. And then when it becomes your turn to talk, I am all ears. You've got my undivided attention because you gave me your undivided attention to what I had to say. So be a listener, ask questions. Okay. Now, this last one I'm going to talk about is dress to impress. And this can be I don't want to say a touchy subject, but one that everyone's got a lot of different opinions about. And I'm going to give you my opinion, being in the industry of customer service, I used to own a carpet cleaning business actually years ago, and I used to have to work with customers in their house. Let me tell you, if you think working on people's vehicles, it can be difficult dealing with those customers in your shop, try being in their house with their property, with their belongings, and making sure that they feel comfortable with you. So got a lot of experience in this. So what I always say is dress one step higher than your ideal customer. Okay. So what does that mean exactly? Think about if your ideal customer, what they would dress like on a normal day, and take it up one notch. Okay. So don't be wearing 3-piece tuxedos in the shop, right? I used to harp on realtors for this. When we were looking for a house, and we're looking for what I would consider the average purchasing house, not too luxurious, not too fancy. And these were, working people homes. And we'd show up to the house, and the realtor would be there in his brand new BMW, brand new Audi, wearing his 3-piece suit and tie, and dressed and slicked and fancy watch. And I would feel intimidated. I would feel like, oh wow, that maybe this house isn't for us. Maybe this house isn't good enough. Maybe we need a nicer house because look at this guy, what he looks like. And so it would actually deter us. And finally, I got to the point where I started telling realtors, I'd say, look, we're looking to buy a house. At the time, this was going back 15, 16 years ago. And I'd say, look, if I'm buying a house that's $300,000 or $400,000 in this area, like, dress to impress me. Dress nice. Wear nice dress pants, a nice golf shirt. Dress nice, but don't overdo it. You're intimidating everyone. And a few realtors have talked to me afterwards and thanked me for this advice. If you're selling a home that is worth $1, $2, $3 million, well, that's a different story, right? The ideal customer from those houses dress different themselves. And when they pull up and they see your brand new Audi sports car, well, they're impressed by you and they want to buy a house from you. So dress to impress within that. Wear name tags. I said this earlier. Have a name tag with your name on it so you're memorable. I'm easy. I know who I'm talking with. I don't have to question who I'm talking with. If I have to call back or come back, I know who to ask for because I see your name. Very important. Uniforms. Have matching clean uniforms for the shop. Again, dress to impress. If you are the everyday shop, trying to serve the everyday people who drive cars that are anywhere from 5, 10, 15 years old, that are domestic vehicles, nice polo shirts, golf shirts, dress that way. If you're a shop that's serving very expensive European vehicles that are less than 5 years old, right, dress to impress. So when they come in, they look at you and they go, wow, you're impressive. One thing I want to distinguish, very important, is a lot of people are still old school and will tell you hard nose. Don't show your tattoos. Be clean shaven, no facial hair, no piercings, no extreme hairdos. I'm sorry, but that doesn't cut it today. Okay? We're beyond this. Think about it again. Who is your ideal client and what works for them? Again, if you're dealing with customers that are really well off, who live in houses that are worth a couple $1 million, drive the newest European luxury cars, and they're very clean, then yes, you may want to say, I need to be clean shaven. I got to wear a nice shirt. I've got to not bear my tattoos, take my lip rings and nose rings out. Whatever it is. If your customer is the average person with the average car, average income, that's very different. You don't want to intimidate them again, right? So dress to impress for who you're trying to impress. I happen to think that you're far better off to show a little bit of personality and distinction. People connect with people, okay? I have this beard. I started growing it a little over a year ago. I like it. It's a part of my personality. When I go places, and places that people who see me on social media and places, they instantly recognize me. I'm not saying I'm the most famous or popular person out there, but when I walk somewhere into an environment like a show for shops, I'll have people call out my name. Hey, Mike, wave hi. How's it going? Come and talk to me, because I'm instantly recognizable. So there is an advantage to doing something that makes you stand out a little bit, right? So take that how you will for your shop. Yes, you got to have some sort of standard, but again, who is your ideal client? What did they think about facial hair, about tattoos, about piercings? Like, ask those questions, find out. And from there, you can base for your shop what is right. There's no solid yes or no on that. So that wraps up my first impressions video. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to us on the support chat, or join us on our Facebook group, or you can reach out to us, support@eautoclub.com. If you're trying to struggle, and you're struggling with first impressions, what needs to be done in your shop, we'd love to hear from you and see how maybe we might be able to help guide you on that. So with that being said, we'll catch you on the next video.